I'm Lindsay Weiser, Marketing Manager here at Rack Square Data Centers, and I'm here with Jason Hardy. He's our VP and General Manager. And today we want to talk about the benefits of IBM Power in the cloud. Jason, and I want to pitch it to you really quickly. Can you talk about the financial benefits? That's
Sure.
what we hear the most about.
Yeah, that always seems to be a decision criteria for people, and a couple of them that we talk about very frequently is making the shift from CapEx to OpEx. And that tends to be a decision that's, kind of personal to the company, how they want to expense IT infrastructure. But, part of the benefit we see with it, especially for smaller businesses, is sometimes it's very difficult to come up with a big chunk of capital to replace a server. So if you're thinking about a server that's going to cost $150,000, it's very easy for them to go to finance and say, I need $150,000, and be told, how about we do this next year?
Yeah.
And it ends up being a situation where they have to use technology well beyond its useful life. So they're using old technology. By shifting to an operating expense model, instead of coming to the CFO and saying, I need $150,000, they can go and say, I've got a service that's going to provide this for me in an operating expense model. It's going to cost $1,500 a month. They can then easily budget for the expense for the long term, and if their pricing changes over time, it's hundreds of dollars in change over time, not a big chunk of money. So CapEx to OpEx is one of the big financial benefits that customers see. Another benefit is the scalability, and I know we've talked about how scalable the infrastructure can be. There's a couple things there. From a technical standpoint, you only pay for what you need. So you're not buying a lot of infrastructure you don't need. You're not buying a lot of memory, processor, storage that you don't need. The scalability allows you to purchase fractions of a processor, small amounts of memory, and the storage you need today with the ability to grow storage over time. So rather than paying for a full processor, a lot of memory you don't need, and a lot of storage you don't need, you start off small, and as you need more, you add it. If you have flexibility through the year or variability through the year where you need more processor or you have a larger workload and more memory, you can increase temporarily and then decrease. So
Gotcha.
That's a couple of things that we see.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're a CIO, a VP, the financial benefits are extremely important because you're worried about budget, you're worried about expenses, everything like that. Can you kind of talk more towards the technical benefits of migrating to the cloud?
Sure. One of the big benefits that we offer customers is all of our IBM Power servers are connected to off-platform storage. They're on our IBM SAN. And we don't have just one SAN, we actually have 3 SANs. We have 2 in our primary data center and 1 at a remote location. The primary SAN replicates in near real time with a secondary SAN that is at a remote location. What that means is if something happens to that primary SAN, there's a near real time copy of your data off-site, so there's very little data loss. Along with that, we have this second SAN at our primary location. There's a technology on the IBM 7300 called Hyperswap. And what Hyperswap allows us to do is basically treat these 2 SANs almost as one. So when your data gets written to the first SAN, it gets written to the second SAN at the same time. If there was a failure of that first SAN, you would automatically be routed over to the second SAN, and you would not experience really any data loss or any outage.
Okay, so let's say I'm a customer and I'm like, this makes sense. I'm warming up to the cloud. I really like the idea of SAN storage. What do I do now for my backups?
Backups are one of the topics that customers always struggle with. When we talk about their backup process, pretty much everybody is doing a backup. It's just a matter of how much they believe in their backup process. Most are still using tape. Most are doing the best they can to protect that tape. But when you think about the backup best practices, it's 3 copies of your data on 2 media with 1 being off-site. Most are not meeting those best practices. So they'll go to tape, maybe they move the tape to another room, to another building, but they're not doing as much as they should. What we're able to do is, first, we want to meet your backup requirements. So we don't ask you to change to meet our needs. We're going to replicate the backup timing that you want, the retention that you want. We're going to back up every night to a cybernetics VTL. That VTL will be deduped, compressed, and then we will replicate it to a secondary VTL that's offsite in our Kentucky data center.
Okay.
So that gives you multiple copies of your data on the SAN, multiple on the VTL, and a copy offsite. So dramatically improves most companies' backup processes.
Absolutely. And it basically does meet that 3-2-1 that you were just saying that most companies aren't.
Absolutely does.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome. I think this was really beneficial for me, and I hope to a bunch of you. We talked about the financial benefits, talked about technical. We also talked a little bit about our migration path and kind of the steps there to kind of ease everybody's mind of, the cloud. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we end?
Yeah, I mean, really, the conversations we have with companies about moving to the cloud, everybody has their own unique business needs. So for some, that financial will be most important. For others, it will be technical benefits, migration benefits. There's a wide range of problems that companies are working around and looking for solutions. So, the list of why to move to the cloud is long. We won't hit everything here, but it's definitely something that if you're interested in learning more, check out the Rack Squared website. Reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation and talk to you about what we've done for other customers and how we can help you with your IT challenges. Thanks for joining.